Okay, so let me look at the requirements and yeah, something that I can see here that we didn't point out before is that there seems to be clearly some concept of a due date, and I'm telling you why I'm saying that, because here, for example, I noticed that it says when items are due, we mention overdue several times. So is this something that we need to keep track of?
Yeah, remember when we used to stamp them on the books in the stamp pad?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah, we definitely keep track of, the system has to keep track of when books are due.
Okay, so, and it seems to me that one good way of doing that is by basically adding an attribute to the item.
Okay.
And I'll just call it due date.
Okay.
So basically for each item, in case it's loaned, there will be, this attribute will contain the value of when the item is due. Okay?
Okay.
Right? And something else that I noticed here is that down here, it seems like the requirements are saying that an item can be renewed only once. So I guess that's something else that we need to keep track of, right? The system needs to know.
We have to know whether they've renewed it or not.
Okay, so I'll do a similar thing here. I think I want to go and add an attribute that I will call number of times renewed and add it to the item class.
Okay.
And this is kind of more generic than what you need, because here you say only once, but let's say that in the future you want to allow it to kind of renew twice. You'll be able to use this attribute again, because we can just count how many times it was renewed, okay?
Makes sense.
All right. And one last thing I want to point out is, it seems pretty obvious, but I'm going to check with you anyways. And it seems like there is basically the need to keep track of whether an item is checked out or not. If you look at the text here, the requirements here, I can see that checkout and checked out are mentioned 5 times. So okay. I'm assuming that that's something also that we want to know about an item, whether it's checked out or not.
We have to keep track of whether they're checked out.
Okay, so I'll add an additional attribute there. So I'm going to, again, go back to the diagram, and I'm just going to write here also the checked out attribute. And I think that's it as far as I'm concerned. Is there anything that you think is missing?
Well, I do have a question. With checked out, it better not be the case that somebody can check out a reference book. Right?
Oh, I see.
Okay, I mean, it's only the books and the audiovisual material that can be checked out.
Right. Okay, so I guess, well, the way I will fix that is I'll probably put yet another attribute in the item class, and I'll call it loanable. And basically, this attribute is just telling us whether an item is loanable or not. So when it's not true, when loanable is not on, basically that item can be checked out.
Okay, and the system would know this.
The system will know that.
Prevent it from being checked out.
Prevent it from happening, okay? All right, perfect. So we're going to do that. And any other objection, any other?
No, that was my question.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do next, I haven't mentioned that yet, but classes, right now we just looked at the attributes, right? They give you sort of the state of the class. And there's something else, that is a second part of the class, kind of an orthogonal aspect, which is what the class can do. And we call those operations. So normally these classes also have operations that I guess will make sense to you as well. And one very natural way to identify operations is to look at the requirements and look for verbs. Because verbs associated with an item will tell you basically what the item can do. Okay. So I like to go back to the requirements and start the same way in which we underline nouns. We're going to underline verbs, and we're going to see which ones of those verbs actually represent actions that we want to represent explicitly, we want to model explicitly in our class diagram.
Okay.
Okay?